Well, okay. It didn't even ask me where I wanted to record that. Here we go. So, take two of the
Take
Game
two.
Week 29 Fantasy Premier League episode here. Well, Omar, how are we doing this lovely evening, afternoon?
Not so great after looking at the league results of last game week. I used my wild card and I was below average.
Well, what what is an average, anyways, Omar? What these are
An
just
average
numbers.
for just 43 points and I got 38.
Well, I think most people got below average. Let me just show you.
Mm.
Uh, including myself. Look. So, our leader, so-called leader, Mirano
Mm.
FC, he got 43 points, which is average. I got
Average.
41. Rohan's brother, Rohan's twin brother got 47, and Rohan himself got 40. Ooh, a very tight knit race between you three. And Omar, you're fifth now. You're Europa League.
I'm Europa League
You're
quality.
Europa League, second tier competition at 38 points. Ooh, and your brother's not behind. Ooh, looks like the Amins will be playing in a Tier 2 championship this next season in Europe.
Battle of the Brothers with
Battle.
Khans versus the Amins.
Let's see. Well, right now they have the upper hand, but well, maybe this game week 29, will change it all, won't it, Omar?
Game week 29. This dreaded game week. We've been talking about it for the past 5 podcasts, I think.
And
Our
yeah, we had been talking about it, and I had 9 players for it. 9. And now Son is injured, so now I have 8. I just don't know what to do. I
Do you think it's worth taking a 4 point hit to bring in one extra player?
I have 2 transfers.
Ooh,
I planned
okay,
this. I planned this ahead.
okay.
I have 2 transfer things available, like 2 free transfers available. I planned this very carefully. I was like, okay, because last game week, I don't know if you remember, but I had 2, but I only used 1, so I would have
Yes.
2 again this week. But then Son got injured, so now that just ruins my plans, and I can't sell Son because I bought him when he was cheap.
Honestly, I think personally I got rid of him today. And I think now would be the perfect time to get rid of him because he hasn't been performing over the last few weeks. He had that period up until like January, I think it was, where he
Yeah.
kept scoring, assisting, scoring. But it's been a while since he's, given
Do you think
regular.
it's time for him to go? Because I think he was like I don't know what his buying price was.
He started off at 9, I think, or maybe 8.5. I
I
think it
think
was 9.
8.5.
8.5.
I
That would make a
think,
lot of
and
sense.
now
Yeah.
he's at 9.5.
Mm.
But I only get 9.2 for him.
Mm.
So I feel like if I ever want to buy him back in the future, I'll be a bit of a pain. All right. But
That's true.
initially, I thought whatever decision I would take for game week 29 should be so that it would be reversible. So
Mm.
if I make a transfer, I was hoping to get that person back.
Mm.
Like for example, I don't want to sell De Bruyne because he's 11.8 million, but I bought him so late uh, that I think I can get back for him. But like for Gundogan, he's only 6 million, so I can sell him and get him back. It won't really be that much of a financial deficit, right? But for Son, he's been there since like game week 1 for me. So
You don't want to take a massive money hit, not even a point hit.
money here. It's about
Yeah.
the finances too, right? It's about the finances too. Like these point 4, point 8s, they add up per player. You do that for 2, 3 players, and then you're like 2 million short.
Mm. The
So
thing
I
is, though, personally, I got rid of him today. And the reason behind it, I mean, I was thinking, I also got rid of him for 9.2, by the way.
no.
So I took a 0.3 hit, million hit, not points. But my thinking behind it was that I will not be getting him back. I I mean, we saw Tottenham crash out of the Europa
Europa
League.
League last night.
They're not
Yeah, that's a good
they're
point.
not they're not doing very well. And as the guy who had three attacking Tottenham players in his team, I thought maybe it's time to, change that, ship some of these guys out. And Son, with his injury, maybe he'll miss a few games. And then there's just another, I think in total there's 10 games or 9 games left. And if he's missing like three, he's
Yeah.
missing like 33% of the
I
games.
mean, it's
So
game week 29, so
yeah,
just 9 games left.
just just 9 games left.
This ought to be awful now because now I don't. So right now I only have 8 players that are
Mm.
playing this game week, which an interesting fact brought to us by our Ramiro FC. He
Shout
said
out.
that
He's not here, but he's in our
yeah,
thoughts.
he said for the top 10,000 managers, only like most of
Eight.
them only have 8 players playing this game week. So and top 10,000 is actually pretty big, and I think I'm just on the brink of it. I'm not entirely sure. Let's just take a quick peek. Where do we stand? Points. Well, 484,000. So I can say we're more. We're just off by a factor of 50. We should be okay then, right, Umar? If only the top 10,000 have 8 players playing, being at this rank, I think we should be
Um,
all right.
474,000 are our competition because those top 10,000, they're out the park with the 8 players only.
With the 8 players only. Okay, so my second thing was like about Ollie Watkins, but then I was thinking maybe I should just hold on to this guy until this game week, and then get
Mm.
rid of him. So I think I'm gonna do what I did last week. I'm only gonna make one transfer again and make sure I have 2 for next week. When I throw out Ollie Watkins. But
Disrespect to my boy Ollie.
it's
So,
just
but the thing is, you have 2 transfers saved. Why
yeah.
not just use them now and have 10 players rather than 9 players for this game
See,
week?
but like who do I get rid of then? It's like so it's such a conundrum here. Like, do I get rid of Gundogan? He's such a cheap, good player. He's been performing way above his level for his price. So uh, do I get rid of Fernandez? He's gonna cost me a lot. We talk about the price deficit, the money deficit. He's gonna be one of those players that's gonna cost me a lot. Let's just look at his information. He's 11.5, and I'll get point 3 out of him too. So with him and Son, I get like half a mil,
That's
point
point
6 out.
six. Yeah.
And
The thing is, just looking over here to the right hand side, if you get rid of Gundogan, you lose point 0.2 million. If you get rid of De Bruyne, you lose 0.1 million, and if you get rid of Bruno, you lose 0.3. I
yeah,
would probably recommend getting rid of either De Bruyne or Gundogan just for one game week and then bringing them back after.
yeah, but think of it this way, right? If I make two transfers now, next week I can only make one transfer. So that would be just virtually me getting De Bruyne back.
You can't get rid of Ollie Watkins next week.
Yeah.
You'll have to wait one more.
So,
Yeah.
but then you have to see if that's gonna be worth it.
Okay, why don't you look at next week's fixtures and see who City are playing and see who Villa are playing, and would it be better to get rid of Watkins or De Bruyne instead?
See, no, it's not only about that, because you also have to see what, like, maybe Watkins might not even make the starting 11. But you got Chelsea, West Brom, so Rudiger will play. Leeds, Sheffield, so Rafinha has a good
Bamford.
Rafinha, Bamford. I don't
Dallas.
Dallas. I think all 3 of them can be on the starting 11 there. So Man City play Leicester. Okay, and Leicester have been a bit shaky, even though recently they've gained a little
They
bit of
scored
momentum.
5, I think, but
Yeah,
it was a very shaky game.
yeah, but like I mean, Iniacho madness, right? That game, hat trick and everything. But it's just not like they're not a team that you can count on. It's just a
Mm.
team that you roll a dice. Sometimes you get a five, sometimes you get two. Some
Especially with creative players like Barnes and Madison both out, you know.
Yeah, and Vardy has been actually very very poor statistically in the last 3-4 months.
Mm.
So he's
I saw that he's the second worst striker in the Premier League in terms of XG.
XG. Yeah, he
Yeah.
is awful. So it's not something that we wanna you know take on. So, but then you look at City's the way City have been playing, and then you might think Gundogan might not even play, just cause there's pep roulette. Um, then you got Newcastle Spurs, good game for Spurs. So Kane would be decent. I don't know. Maybe if Son's back, then those thoughts starts coming up. Arsenal Liverpool. I don't have any Liverpool or Arsenal players. United Brighton, so I need Fernandes for that one. Uh, I'm expecting a 94th minute penalty again. Uh, and Everton, Palace, Wolves, West Ham. Huh.
Another really important fact that I was just actually looking at right now. You see the week that we're looking at right now down there with the 3rd of April and 4th of April.
Yeah.
Midweek is when the first leg of Champions League ties will be played. So you don't know if the likes of De Bruyne and Gundogan might be playing in the Premier League at that
Ooh.
point,
Just like last week.
just like
Just
last
like
week.
last week. Ooh, very interesting. And I mean, they are playing Dortmund now,
They are
which
playing
is an
Dortmund.
episode that's just gonna follow right after this. Okay, so if I get De Bruyne out, right, uh, who could they like? Who could I fill it in with?
Oh, I'll
21
tell you
million.
what I did. I'll tell you what I did. Don't look at the price, look at the player and go for Jesse Lingard.
Oh yeah, for sure. J Links, is he playing though?
He's playing. West Ham are playing.
The thing is, I've been wanting my man J Links for a while. Uh,
We're about to search J Links.
oh,
There
there
he
you go.
is.
The thing is that I've wanted Lingard for a while now, and
Yeah.
that's even in the previous recordings. I was like, oh, I really want Lingard. I was between Lingard, Rafinha, and Barnes. Remember all that? Okay, so now I have 15.7 million, and I can get any player in the world to possibly make a starting 10. I-
Starting 10.
I'd have a starting 10 still. Like, I'd have
You'd
a
have a
back
starting
three. I have a
a
back
back.
three: Lingard, Son, Rafinha, Bamford, Kane, Watkins. So it would be a starting 10. So no matter what I do, it will still be a starting 10. But I think that would be a lot better because, like we said, top 10,000 managers, they only have 8 players.
We're
Okay.
coming after those positions.
And we got 10 players. So,
Those two
the
players can make
300
all the
point leads
difference.
that they have, it's going to get narrowed down 2 points each. God forbid any of them get yellow cards or red cards. Okay, so who's playing this game week? Which one you'd really really back? I think they're all like decent matchups, don't you think?
They're very, very good matchups. Especially the last two games, those will be very
Yeah,
interesting. Yeah, I think Tottenham are not well. Okay, judging by their league form, they're not doing too bad, I think. Bale has recently come into form in the Premier League. Kane's been doing well,
yeah, but they've
but
lost
now
like last 2 games or something. So it's not.
if you lose to a team whose manager is in a prison cell for 4 years, I mean, I'm
Oh,
not really gonna bank on you.
that
Um,
game deserved its own recap. Only if we were too busy doing our thesis proposals and whatnot.
we've got the second game, West Ham against Arsenal. I mean, I'm actually thinking West Ham are the favorites going into this, aren't they?
But you look at like Arsenal's recent form. Man, they've been good. They've been good. Like they've been getting results. You know, one
They
player like Arsenal, they've got so many options as young talented midfielders. So you never know who to pick. You don't know if you want to pick Saka. You don't know if you want to pick Smith Rowe. You don't know if you want to pick Odegaard, because A, you don't know who's gonna start, and B, like even though those players play well, they don't get you the numbers. They don't get you the stats. They don't get you the goals and assists. So then you think like, are they worth it in my fantasy team?
Yeah, they're the kind of team who are just out in the open right now. You can't really put your trust in a certain player or like a certain group of players. Like for example, with Tottenham, even if they're doing bad, having Kane in your team is like a must for everyone at this point. You
Yeah.
know, he's gonna get you a return no matter what. Whereas
Even
with
even if he
Arsenal,
doesn't, even he doesn't get you the goal, he'll swear on his daughter's life and he'll get you the goal.
um, okay, moving on.
Throw back to 2 years ago for those that don't know.
With Arsenal, on the other hand, Aubameyang in and out of form, came back from injury. Saka was one player everyone was trusting, as you were showing right there, 75% chance.
But
And
you look at that, you know.
no matter how much of an impact he has on the pitch, fantasy league is all about stats and stats alone. And clearly, looking at those results, Saka's really not worth it.
You reckon I should go for Aubameyang? You know, he had a like fallout with Arteta, and he'll arrive to his pre-match meeting on time this week, and I don't know, maybe score a couple, and then you're just like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
He'll
And
score a couple and then disappear for another 4 weeks.
yeah, I think he's due. And like, what the hell, 11.5. I mean, he's probably gonna be the ones taking the penalties, right? And Lacazette's a forward, so I don't think I'll be able to get him. Uh, I think this is a fair shout.
But Aubameyang, are you sure against West Ham? It's not just any team. They're not playing a Sheffield or a Fulham. They're playing
I
West
know,
Ham.
but again, it's West Ham. You know, it is West Ham. You know, I don't know how to put my
It's West
words
Ham.
together, lads. It's Tottenham, just like that. You know, lads, it's West Ham. Because think about it this way: if they get a penalty, right, who's gonna take
Aubameyang's
it?
gonna be the one taking it.
Aubameyang, right? If they're gonna score, it's either gonna be him or Lacazette, right? It's
And chances are, if one's getting the goal, the other's getting the assist.
yeah. So
The big question is, will they score though? Because West Ham have been in great form.
defensively, especially, they got you know, great defense. How's their form been, by the way? West Ham's form.
West Ham's form, I'm not sure. Could you go on the results? Let's check it out, because I think last time out they lost to Man United 1
The thing
0.
is, I don't want to like ruin this.
Hmm. No, no,
So,
just click on the. Okay, so you see how you have Lingard? Just click on his eye,
ooh,
like the
right, yeah, of course,
information.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so 1-0 loss to United. 2-0 win against Leeds. 2-1 loss against City. Uh, 2-1 win over Tottenham. 3-0 win over Sheffield. 0-0 against Fulham.
They've played a lot of the big teams during these last few game weeks,
So,
Tottenham, City, United.
which merits, um, and I mean, Arsenal are on the up too. How is it when they played Arsenal the first time around? Oh,
Arsenal,
they
they
lost.
lost 1-0.
I tend to
But back
back
then,
them.
I don't think West Ham were as good as they are right now, though. They
I
didn't have the main
mean,
man Jay Lings in their team at that point, so
that's an interesting call. But then you gotta pick one or the other. You either gotta go all West Ham or you gotta go all Arsenal. Like having those players that contradict each other. All right, what about Brighton and Newcastle? If Brighton and Newcastle play, who's scoring those goals?
Thing is, Brighton are creating a lot of
Yeah,
chances. They have the
but they
highest
got Danny
XG or
Welbeck
something.
and whatnot at the
Neil
end of those.
Maupay,
Um,
Neil Maupay is missing all those chances put
I
on
need
a
a
silver
midfielder
plate.
from them though. I need a midfielder.
I mean, okay. If you go to Brighton's team, who are their best scoring midfielders?
By team.
Brighton.
Brighton. They must be in the B category, right? Midfielders. Trossard, of course.
Trossard.
But 93 points,
That's not
that's
the
not
greatest.
great. Like if you look at all these points for Brighton, you wonder no, it just kind of makes sense why they're there, right?
They create a lot, but then they miss a lot. See,
Yeah.
Aubameyang has 104, and he missed a great portion of the season, and he's higher than any Brighton player already. So
Who else is gonna play?
I think Newcastle is a fair shout. Like, just avoid all their players.
What is going on with Newcastle?
I don't think even the Newcastle fans could answer that. Whenever you seem to look at reviews, game reviews, or previews of upcoming fixtures, it's always the same. Steve Bruce out. We don't know what he's doing with the team. One week you'll have Joe Linton up top. Next week you'll have Dwight Gale, and you're like, what kind of style are you trying to establish? Because those are completely opposite players. So I don't really understand what he's going for. Lately, we've been seeing a lot of 4-2-3-1 sort of converted into a 4-4-2 kind of formation with them, with the
Yeah.
likes of Wilson and Fraser, but they're very, very shaky. And I don't know, I think it's best to just avoid their players because they concede a lot. So you can't trust their keeper or their defenders. And in terms of goals, you don't know who you can bank on. I think for a while, Callum Wilson was the go-to guy for everyone. But after his injury, even he's been in and out of the team. So nobody, I guess, is a certain starter who's going to give you returns week after week in that team.
So I've thought about it a lot, and
Gareth Bale,
yeah,
Abdul Rehman seen the light. I was laughed at last podcast
no, I
because
agreed
I
with
put
you.
Bale
I
into.
agreed with
Oh,
you.
really?
I was
Was
I
it
was with
Omar?
you. No, I thought it was a fair shout to put Bale
Mm.
or Son. It's just that like
It wasn't
uh
a fair shout to put Bale and Son.
yeah, Bale and Son would have been like, oh, you're really putting three Spurs attacking players? Are you sure about that? No, I'm gonna put Bale for one reason. Look at this.
Yeah.
Son, like, I mean, it's literally Son and Kane FC, right? Like 184, 180.
Mm.
And you got just mid-tier players, the defenders.
The defenders. That's shocking.
That's like Brighton defenders.
I think even the likes of Lewis Dunk had more points than that.
I think
So
Lewis Dunk had more points than highest
Alderweireld, yeah.
defender. Yeah,
95,
95.
75.
That's
Oh,
way better.
The two
Two
top
top
defenders.
defenders. Spurs, Mourinho, you're managing the wrong team, mate. A team that
That's
can
a
defend and cannot score. I think you know where to go. Okay, I think this should be good. I'm gonna make these transfers. You know,
That's a fair shout. That is a fair shout. I think 10 players, that's very good for this game week.
yeah. So
Now we're on to the difficult choice,
so
the
who to
moneymaker.
captain? Who to captain?
You know what? I like your current choice.
No, I don't.
No.
I know Jesse Lingard has a history of scoring against Arsenal's and absolutely, if I use this word,
Millie Rodney.
if I use this word very politely, Millie rocking and shithousing his way to goals and assists. But David Luiz FC.
David Luiz FC.
You never know, right? That monster name might just turn up. So, I don't know if I'm gonna go with Bale or Lingard. I'm just gonna vice him right now, but it's gonna be
So
one or the others. But then you
I've
think
got
about
yesterday's team in front of me, and that might be a fair shot because Bale did not start yesterday, which
so
means there's a good chance he
so
plays
like
starts.
about five of Jose Mourinho's regular starters didn't start.
Mhm.
Like
Kane
regular
started. Kane started
Kane
though.
started, but
Yeah.
like at the back, right? Regulon, like Doherty or you could say none of them are like starters, right? They keep rotating, so it doesn't really matter. But Regulon, then Hoiberg, uh, the other defensive midfielder as well didn't start, and then I think
And Dombla.
Ndombele didn't start. So there were a few. Let me just put just for clarification. So just looking at yesterday's
Okay.
results.
So Harry Kane, Deli Ali, Lucas, Lamela, Sissoko, and Winks, which means Ndombele missed out. Højbjerg missed out. Bale missed out. Who
Yeah,
else? Their Europa League striker was usually Vinicius, and he didn't play either. I mean, he came off the bench.
and Alderweireld has been starting, so he was
Oh,
like Dyer was given a shot too. So they had like a few rested players.
mm,
Yeah, so guess like they took it lightly and they've backfired. So I think I would back Bale to start this game, especially because like they got nothing else to play for, right? So Murray is just gonna be like, let's try to get top six, top like let's try to get as close as possible as top four. So I
and
think Bale will start and Bale will play.
now their full focus is going to be on the Premier League and the League Cup final, which doesn't come for another month and a half or something.
So
So
yeah, so I think they're gonna go all guns blazing. So I'm not sure between Lingard, Bale, and Kane. I will decide that later. But I think
mm,
that's it for me for today. What about you,
that's
Umar? What are you looking at?
so. If I could just So this was my previous game week. Got rid of John Stones and Cancelo, and of course, both kept a clean sheet. One got a goal, the other got an assist. So missed all those points. Had one, two, three players starting with 1 point, whereas Rudiger was
Lovely.
left on the last that's the last substitute with 6 points right there. That was nice.
How do you not have faith in Rudiger? He was like my starter. He was like in the middle of it all.
I thought, Cresswell might put in a nice cross from a corner or like a free kick and get some assists or like some attacking returns, but clearly not. United were too strong. Again, Son got injured very early on in the game. Tottenham didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Bruno didn't do anything. West Ham didn't do anything. Bamford didn't do anything. And it was just a week of blanks. Only Luke Shaw and Diogo Jota were the players to get me some sort of return. And even that Diogo Jota was a last minute purchase. I had Jesse Lingard already in my team, and then I thought, you know what? I'm using my wild card. It's okay if I keep Jota now since Lingard won't play against United. And he got me 8 points. The only player I
That was a good
trusted.
call, I'd say. I think come on, if you had Jillings and you hadn't swapped him out,
Hmm.
you might have been on 30 points, which is slightly poorer than 38.
So this is my team for the next game week, the dreaded game week 29. I have a starting 11 of, well, starting nine of these guys. I've got nobody on the bench who could come on, and I've already used my transfer earlier today. I got rid of Son and I brought in Jesse Lingard. Um, yeah, I was considering, using another transfer, like taking a 4 point hit to make it a nice 10, because I think 8 points for 11 players is going to be a bit too much. But then I opted against it, and I think I'm going to stick with these nine. As I said, Jesse Lingard, I think, is a favorable captain choice, and I will stick with that, and I will stick with Gareth Bale as vice captain.
You really, really want that Millie rocking.
I don't know. I just have a feeling, especially since Arsenal lost yesterday as well. All the Tottenham news overshadowed the fact that Arsenal also lost. I just think that in a bad run of form, either a great Arsenal side is going to turn out, or an Arsenal side that's just going to collapse, as we've seen over the past
Or the
eight
Butler
seasons.
side of.
Yeah.
It's
So
something in the North London water, isn't it?
it really is. And the thing is, it doesn't. I don't even get it, because with Tottenham yesterday, right? It was an away game. All they needed was one goal, and three wouldn't have been enough from Dinamo to keep them in.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, even if late on, even after the bottle job, they had a couple of great chances in the end when the keeper made some amazing saves.
We,
Right?
mm,
If one of them went in and they were gonna go through, they were like the
they
second
were
best
through.
team. Okay, let's be fair. Tottenham didn't play bad. It's just that they didn't defend well. Like,
Mm.
let's be fair, they just let Orsic, and due to his credit as well, right? Two wonder strikes
First one
and
and the third one,
yeah, one
crazy.
great build up play. So all three goals of pure class. You want to see that kind of football. So, but again, Spurs should have scored at least two themselves. And throw back to first leg. Kane only scored the second goal at like the 80th, 87th, 88th minute, and it was kind of like it was a very tame
That,
goal.
mm,
Like it wasn't something that was very well built up or something. So just think about that. If he hadn't scored that, it would have been 3-1. So
3-1. And also, no, a huge credit to Dinamo because the way that goal was, like the way it went in at that time and that moment, you'd think Tottenham they're gonna cruise through in the second leg and just go to the next round.
yeah,
I think a lot of people were expecting that, and teams could easily give up in that situation. They already know that they're going out against a much superior side, just take the L. But they didn't do that.
yeah, but Dinamo weren't bad in the first leg either.
No, no, they
I
were not.
I think they had that confidence coming into this leg. But anyways, are we done here with the Fantasy Premier League?
I believe we are done. We click on save team and
Have a
stop
look at
sharing my
Omar's.
screen.
Oh, can we have a look at
Oh,
Omar's team? We can't, right?
all right.
Not until he's made his.
No, we
Oh.
cannot. Not until the game week has started.
Well, Ramiro FC, you can hide now, but how much longer? You will
We're
be
coming for
exposed
you.
next week. We're coming for you.
Once he hits that 100-point barrier, because he's been preparing for this for ages.
He has been.
Looking at Reddit.
I mean, I'm gonna be fair. If it were from him, I wouldn't know that this was coming. I would have had no idea, no clue that this was it. And I'm also there is a trend that ever since this Fantasy Premier League podcast started, I've been doing better, even better. So thank you, everyone. And thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of Fantasy Premier League, match day 29. And well, let us know what you're doing with your captain selection and how are you going in with. Are you going in with 7 players, 6 players, 11 players? Let us know, and let us know down below in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to be updated every time we post a match day review. We follow La Liga and Premier League very thoroughly, as well as Fantasy Premier League for the Barclays Premier League. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time, cheerio, and we'll catch you in the next half.